G'day and welcome to the Inforunners. Today I'm joined by Seer and Dasein, and we're going to be doing a buyer's guide on the Tumbril Ranger. Now, I'm pretty sure long-time viewers of this show will be able to kind of tell us what we're going to do and what we're going to say, so I'd be interested to know in the comments straight off the bat if you guys called this one as soon as you saw it as well, or what we're going to say about it anyway. But I think we'll start out with you guys. Let's start with the positives. What do you actually like about this bike? What do you see its main uses being, and are you going to get one?
The size. Hands down, the size of this vehicle, because...
That's what all the ladies tell you, don't they, Dasein? Anyway. Right.
Because this vehicle is small and can be stuck in so many different vehicles that it just gives this...
Sorry, it just keeps getting worse, but anyway, keep going.
Basically, the fact that you can stick it in so...
Alright, see ya! While he's getting over his stuff, what do you think of it? I like we're so keen on this episode. Yeah, the price. Yeah, it's very cheap.
The price.
Definitely. What do you think of the variants that they showed off as well? I guess.
Well, I mean, I find this rather interesting because they have the 3 different variants, and I know for a fact something like the Dragonfly, you have guns and cargo, so they decided to diversify it. Not complaining. I find it interesting, but I got 3.
It does weaken it a little bit. I think it does. Yeah.
I got 3 of the standard ones because LTI token. I'm going to use them as that. I just got the basic one. We'll see if I like it.
I think it's definitely the strongest. I think it pretty much goes cargo, the gun one, and then the racer. That's just me. But ironically, that's if you kind of look at them on their own merit. I think as soon as you start to look at them against other bikes, I think that it's going to sound weird, and I'm kind of struggling with this, but I think the racer might be the one that comes out on top. Just because I think you'll use it more in large cities. Like, I can see people like an Art Corp, like, going around Blade Runner S style, and their biker gangs. But, like, as soon as you take this bike outside of a controlled environment, I think all the other bikes kick its butt. For the things you just mentioned, like the Dragonfly having guns and cargo. And then the really obvious one that CIG really did not tell us, which is obvious, and I've had people go, this is the best bike in the entire game, and it isn't, for one massive reason. It doesn't work in space. All the others work in space, and that just throws this out the window. Sorry.
I would agree with you on that, except for the fact that I feel like this fulfills a very needed role. If you're able to fit this vehicle in more things, like let's say you could fit it into something like an Avenger or Reliant. I'm not 100% sure. Haven't seen the metrics out yet.
But you could safely assume it fits in the same spot as a Dragonfly. So yeah, go nuts from there. Like
I saw someone do a shrink it down and show. I saw one size comparison, and that's making me think that if it can fit in an Argo, it should be able to fit in an Avenger. If you can fit this thing in an Avenger or Reliant, it now fulfills that needed role of, hey, I have 2 people. We're going exploring, you hop on the bike, I go do air cover. Or, hey, you go pick up the box, come back. Because it allows that extra...
I don't know about you, Seer, but I definitely wanted to see competitor the Grey Cat. It's about time. It's only taken them 4.5 years, but fine. No. But I get what you're trying to say, but, like, there's a need type thing, and I just don't... Like, the need for this bike is on ground only, and, when you do things like Seer said, and you make it so that it has to choose guns or cargo, plus that it's already ground only, and then you look at the price and it's only $10 cheaper. Like, to me, that this bike should have been $20. Not
the guns
not
on
30.
the thing are pointless.
Yeah,
I say that.
I think it needed to almost become stronger than the Dragonfly in one area because it's weaker in another. And here's the other thing. You compare it on the ground, the Dragonfly and the other bikes can hover, so does that mean, like, just with a little bit of boost, you can fly over a rock, where this has to always go around. So
that's a downside for sure, especially because Tumbril wheels fall off at the drop of a hat. It feels like
definitely at the moment.
I'm sure that'll get changed in the future.
Yeah, me too. I think that'll obviously all be worked through, especially when the hovers have got a better collision avoidance, let's say, than this. But yeah, look, I question a lot of the choices, but like really, it's really interesting because when I was speculating with our grid about a week ago, what could they possibly bring out from Tumbril, and we kept coming back to we never once came to a bike. Let's just put it that way. I didn't see a need for it. When there was 3 other bikes, I just did not see a need for it.
Well, the need for it again is the small compact. I still think of what was it, Oblivion? I think it was where he pulls out a small bike.
Yep.
From his hover vehicle.
That'd be great if it was a bike that you could fold up into a backpack, but this does not fold up into a backpack. They would have shown photos of it. But if it did, it would be amazing. Like I would, yep, cool, amazing. That'd be awesome. Any troop could just carry it on their back, pull it out, and off they go. That'd be amazing. That I could see a need for. But a bike that's just 2/3 the length of a Dragonfly, and it's negated by the fact that it doesn't have, it either has to choose guns or cargo, and it doesn't hover. I'll keep the Dragonfly.
I don't see why guns are an issue, because guns are pointless on a vehicle like this, and I even have issues with them sometimes on Dragonfly, because you try shooting someone in a Dragonfly in another Dragonfly, and it becomes this absolute mess.
But, like Seer just said, that's something they'll fix down the road. This game's all in flux at the moment. It hasn't been fine-tuned or balanced at all. They just put it in, make it look pretty, and move on to the next thing, until eventually they get that final area, and then they start honing down everything.
I still say the guns on a bike like this would just be... You would have to be shooting something much larger than either a bike, and I even think maybe larger than a Rover.
I'll just throw this at you. The automated aim assist that they put on ships. Put that on the bike. I think it'll solve a lot of issues.
Gimbaled. This isn't gimbaled.
Yep, that's true. Probably need to
and component size on this vehicle too. Is there everything's barely fitting in there? It looks like from what they were sounding like.
Are they gimbaled on the Dragonfly? Do either you two know?
I don't think they are.
No, I don't know.
So maybe they just need to automatically make him. Oh, actually, they're size 1s. They can't be gimbaled. So maybe
that's what I'm saying.
Maybe they need to make a special exception for vehicles that can have size 1 gimbal. I don't know. Or they're size 1 turrets. That's how they fix the issue. Technically, they're a size 1 turret. Anyway, that's something they'll have to look at. Getting back to the variations of the bike, like I kind of like them all, but I don't, because I think they could all kind of be combined. What do you guys think? Like if you put it this way, if you combine all 3 of those into one, I would then consider that equal to the Dragonfly for giving up the loss of being able to fly in space.
Logically, I see that, but in this case, it's only because of one thing. You know what that is?
Yep.
I also say component size.
It's a part
yeah,
of it.
That too.
But the losing the ability to go in space and become ground only, that's a huge significant loss. And then the fact that the Dragonfly, as an example, has guns and cargo.
It's basically all terrain. This is not necessarily all terrain, as you said earlier, which we discussed before the stream. Is all orbital bodies, for the most part, with the exception of a Herschel, as I know of. Every single place has the rocks, and the issue is with object container streaming, which I know it's going to get smoothed out in the future. But like, if you're going fast enough, you don't see those rocks till they're like really close to you, and then they disappear real quickly. So you might have a rock that's there that's not rendered, and if you're just going, you're like going to trip over a rock, and you're going to like barrel roll out of control, which I've done in a Cyclone. It was actually pretty funny. But so.
It's funny you mention the Cyclone. I think that's one thing that this bike really does have going for it. The Cyclone is incredibly fun to play with at the moment, and I think this will be an incredibly fun vehicle as well, because I don't know if it's because of the wheels or because it's physically on the ground, but the Cyclone is just... It's easily the funnest ground vehicle at the moment. I think this will definitely give it a run for its money. I don't know if it'll be better, but I think it'll be at least just as fun as the Cyclone.
Just to have to say it because you mentioned it. Too many rocks, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think it'll change from planet to planet too, depending on the terrain. So maybe just that particular Daimar is the one we're talking about, obviously, at the moment. But I think if you went on to say something like Yellow, I don't think you see too many people. There's not as much. Yeah, you don't see too many people on the surface of Yellow. But there's definitely not as much stuff down there. But yeah, I think that's just going to be a part of the downside to this bike, so to speak. I think the obvious one is the price. I think in game this could probably be as half as much as, say, a Dragonfly, so that's another thing going for it. But yeah, they obviously have to price it accordingly due to its loss. To me, yeah, I see what you're saying about being able to fit this in Avenger. That's definitely a plus if you can fit this in the back of something that a Dragonfly or one of the other bikes don't fit into. And it does give you that ability to land and then use this as just the land part, because you obviously really don't need the bike to be able to fly in space if you're already using a spaceship. I see that, so that's a bit of a counterpoint. So yeah, it could be that starter person's vehicle. But ironically, I actually can see a place for that, especially if you can't fit a Dragonfly or I'm not too sure about the X1. I think the X1's a little shorter. That might actually fit in an Avenger when it comes out. So
it's supposed to be real tiny.
Yeah,
I really hope it does.
It almost looks like a motorbike, but they've cut off the front. What do you call that thing where the front wheel is? I know there's someone's yelling at me right now as they're watching this video because I can't think of the name of it. But yeah, it just looks like it's been cut off, so it's weirdly just the back of a motorbike. And I think it makes it a lot shorter than the other two, where the Dragonfly's got these massive levitating pads, so it's obviously a lot larger.
Yep.
And the Nox is the same thing. It's just this long dragster-like style racing bike. So I do find it interesting why I'm thinking about this. The X1. It's the only one of the bikes that hasn't been made. So my question to you two, yes, we've seen the Cyclone, but we've seen other things from Origin. So do you think this bike will come sooner or later? Do you think it's like we'll see in the next 12 months like the other vehicles except the X1? Or do you think it's a lot further away?
Sooner.
It could be sooner. I mean, only time will tell. Right now on the roadmap, obviously we don't know. But sure, high hopes.
I think sooner for one simple reason: the concept pictures show people on it.
Fair enough.
And there are a lot more detailed concept pictures of this than there was of the X1. The X1 were just all side-on hand-drawn photos, where this is and very light 3D. This is definitely a lot more detailed, to the point that it very clearly uses the same Tumbril wheels, like identically almost. So really, this is just a body with two suspension arms on it in a weird way.
Yeah.
So model-wise, the hardest thing, as they would have said, is getting it small enough to put the components in. And that would have just been putting the components as close as you can together and then building the entire body around it. That's kind of almost how they would have...
I'm also thinking Squadron 42, as weird as that sounds, because something like this would almost be perfect to have for one of those ground missions. Just imagine having a chase or something.
I can see that, but then again, I look at something like the Dragonfly, and it's like, that sounds way more better to me if someone's driving and the other person's sitting on the back and shooting. So you could either be the player could be shooting as something's chasing them, or they could be driving and an IA is on the back shooting. So
and still shoot something in front of them.
Yeah,
and have
exactly.
Cargo.
And it's got guns on it.
Wait, does the Dragonfly have cargo on it? I don't want to see.
It does. It has.
Okay.
It has. I think it's got 2 saddlebags on it. But if someone's sitting on it, you can't have cargo. So you got to choose between someone sitting on it and cargo. But the guns are permanently on it.
So
I think actually. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is the first bike that doesn't defaultly come with guns. I'll need to check up
you
on
have
that.
to choose.
Yeah.
You have to choose. You can get the cargo, the guns, or the racer. But I mean, like you said earlier, like comparing the two, I'll say right now, I don't like comparing ships or anything within the verse, because like everything has their own special need. But the way to make this work, which I would like to see, is that is just mine. I know.
Yeah,
I don't like comparing.
You're a pacifist, that's totally
fine. A pacifist, give me a break. But if you know my history, that's not entirely true.
I know. Just teasing you.
Yeah, it's fine. But so like planet movement, that's like the main thing, like you guys were saying earlier, like with the roads of Herston, imagine if with the orbital bodies in the future, like they're developing caves and stuff, if you can develop dirt roads for a bike, then what this can offer is a means of using the roads. It can move a little bit faster, but however, it's not all terrain, and you make like tiny little outposts you can drive between if you wanted to, not like have them all spread out. Like if you go fly to a planet, you have to jump to one, and
Yep.
2 outposts could be more than 800 kilometers between each other.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you have dirt roads, you can make small, tiny outposts you can drive to, like tiny little trading outposts or whatever you want to call it, where a small group of human beings or aliens, whatever is on the orbital body, you can drive between the two on your bike, or you can use your Dragonfly. You have all terrain capabilities because you can hover, but you're probably not as fast. And one important thing is if you spin out with a hover bike, it's a lot harder to get back to your balance and to bleed off your inertia rather than a grounded object.
Yep,
because it's like so that's another thing.
Definitely pros and cons to each. I'll give you that.
Yeah. I mean, again, I bought 3. I'll use 2 as an LTI token, and I'll leave 1 on the shelf to collect dust. Yeah. And if it comes out and I like it, I'll keep it.
Did you buy them separately, or did you buy a pack?
I just bought them all separately. I didn't buy a pack.
Yeah, wise move.
Yeah, so I can just melt them down.
Dyson, you got something to add, or I got another question for you?
I was actually going to add, I actually think this is actually a bad deal for the money. A really bad deal for the money. And I'm saying this, you're paying $30 for something where you can... It's not where you can get like a starship. Look at the Aurora cost in just right now for going into one of the ship shops, and look at something like a Dragonfly. But now think about this having less probably components than a Dragonfly, so it costs be cheaper than a Dragonfly, but you're paying as much as Aurora. You might as well just get an Aurora, sell it in game, and then turn around and actually buy one of these when it first comes out, and multiple other things that you need.
For bang for your buck factor, it's definitely one of the worst deals out there. But as always, if you really like it, don't let it stop you. But if you're looking at this as something that you think that you want in-game to earn and drive, it's going to be incredibly easy to get because it's cheap. Again, long-time viewers of this show probably saw all this coming. Real quick question for you. Do you think with the whole let's get the people who play this game to make biker gangs thing by CIG, ever think that's going to take off? Do you see big hordes of people driving this around in biker gangs and, I don't see it. I think that's a very hopeful marketing ploy on their part, and hence the throwing in the leather jackets and the car. I actually thought the cargo carrying case one was probably the most interesting one. Like if you can actually carry one SCU on your back, and
that is something you need to address.
That's
is it cosmetics
really cool.
or is it cosmetic or is it an actual thing? Yeah. Some people are saying on the Star Citizen the Star Citizen Facebook page, people are like, is it cosmetic or is it an actual thing?
Is this
I'm like,
Ready Player One Facebook group?
The Ready Player One.
Yeah,
it's people are like, they're just having conversation. No one's like freaking out about it. But Dasein, about your money thing, I'm looking at the crowdfunding timeline right now, and there was a huge spike on the 11th. So yeah, a lot of people apparently like this bike. So if I really think this could be used for traversing through a city in the future. I know right now it's limited,
what about arguing
between.
He's not arguing the cost.
No.
He's arguing the worth. And that's the thing. Like this thing is so cheap. Yeah, this is so cheap to earn in game. If you don't need it, then just earn it in game. And that comes back to a lot of things with the ships that we recommend.
One or two missions.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't disagree with Dasein at all, but it's just crazy how when he said that, I was just like, I wonder how many people bought it in the first place. And I'm pretty sure the spike on the 9th was from them.
But
I was like, wow.
Hey, this is the question you haven't stopped to ask yourself: is why did they buy it? And that's pretty much going to bring us around. Oh, you spotted it. It brought us around to what we're going to recommend. And yeah, pretty much we're on the same page. This is this year's LTI token. Can't recommend it due to its price and worth, but we can definitely recommend it as an LTI token. So if there's something that you want at the anniversary sale that's already come out and there's not a concept for it ever going to come again, obviously. So say you want, pick your ship. So let's say you want a Freelancer Miss. You buy this is an LTI token now, come the anniversary sale in November, you upgrade to the Freelancer Misk, and you'll have a Freelancer Misk with LTI. And that's how you get around these little loopholes. So yeah, this is definitely one to pick up, and also remember you can technically buy it, return it, and you can do that every day of the sale for as long as you want, and get yourself a shit ton of LTI tokens that you can buy back at any time. So I highly recommend that if you don't have a bunch of LTI tokens, now is the time. Spend that $35.
Until CIG gets rid of that.
Yeah.
Until CIG gets rid of it, but they
hey, execute. By the way, for everybody, hopefully it doesn't change, but as of right now, you can buy Freelancer Mist. So if you buy this and you melt a ship down you don't want, you can get an LTI Freelancer Mist now.
I'm trying to give an example. You're ruining my example.
No,
pick any other ship. Yeah, right now you can buy one. I know that, but I picked a bad example.
I know.
But I mean, any ship that is not normally...
That was a good example.
Not normally of a ship that's readily available. So basically, just a ship that... Because every ship's available during the anniversary sale. That's all I was trying to get across. All right, is there anything else you boys would like to add? Dasein, anything you want to add?
Nope.
Cool. Seer? Nope.
I got nothing.
All right, he's been Seer. He's been Dasein. I've been Execute. If you like this episode, leave a comment. I'd definitely like to know if you guys called what we were going to say. And yeah, what do you think about this ship? And what do you think about it not being able to go in air like the others, or in space, I should say, in air. And yeah, we'll be on Discord too to talk about it. If you need, we're looking for more people for Fix My Fleet. So if anyone needs some help there, please let us know. Other than that, catch you guys next time.
See ya.
Bye-bye.